Ralph Macchio and Ramon F. Bucks dive into the Eternals' past as the Deviants capture Ikaris, intending on using him as a superpowered Trojan horse to finally destroy Olympia and the Eternals once and for all. Ralph Macchio delivers a little bit more of a classic Eternals story here, with a one-off issue that pits the Eternals against their age-old foes, the Deviants, in a simple good versus evil plot meant to introduce new readers to the Eternals before they go and see the movie, or if they want a little bit more information about the Eternals after seeing the film. To that end, I think it does its job very well. Of course, the more heady parts of the characters' history and their backstories are all left out as to not confuse readers, and it's also why Ikaris, probably the simplest to explain Eternal, is the lead character of the issue, also being that he's one of the leads in the film. The book does dive into some things like the Unimind very briefly, just giving you a really simple idea of what that is, but other than that, it doesn't get into the religious or philosophical undertones that the Eternals have naturally come to them. Ramon F. Bucks gives the book some fantastic artwork laden with Kirby-like designs, page layouts, and colourful action that helps explain who the Eternals are for new readers. Eternals Forever Issue 1 was a great introduction to these weird and wonderful characters for some new readers intending to see the new MCU film. While it doesn't explain all of what the Eternals are about and who they are exactly, it gives away a base knowledge of them, so if people want more, they can go and pick up some other issues and have some understanding of these characters. I'm going to give this issue an 8 out of 10. Eternals Forever Issue 1 finds Ikaris flying through the sky without a care in the world when his peace is interrupted by a deviant ship which opens fire on him. Ikaris blasts the ship with his laser vision, but it soon traps him in an electrified net. The villains catch the falling Ikaris, putting a brain mine on his forehead to keep him knocked out as they take him to the ruins of Lemuria at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, where Ikaris is taken to Lord Gur, the ruler of the cursed race of beings. The villain looks over Ikaris, knowing that his minions have done well, as he gloats over the being, knowing that his people always look down on them, but soon their views will be upended. He knows it's fitting that Ikaris will become his vessel, ordering his men to take the hero to his genetics lab since his master plan for full supremacy is underway. His minions praise his audacious plan as Gur tells them that he has dreamt of the one weapon that could cripple the Eternals, and now they have him. In the lab, the villain is glad that the scientists have prepared for him, knowing it would have been a pain to replace them, seeing as he has full control over all of the Deviants, getting one to cover his hand in acid, knowing that his fellow scientists could definitely regrow it for the man. The Deviant gets into the device alongside Ikaris, wanting a tracking device put into Ikaris since when he returns to Olympia, they will finally know where the mysterious city is. The experiment gets underway and Gur is given full control over Ikaris' mind as the villain proclaims that Ikaris is the arrow pointed at the heart of the Eternal Empire. Ikaris is taken out of the machine, but he wakes up, fighting his way out of the base and escaping into the sky, despite the weakness he feels. Ikaris flies back to Olympia, but soon the injuries take its toll and he falls to the ground unconscious. A few hours later, he awakens to a woman running towards him, calling him her beloved. Ikaris doesn't remember who she is or where he is, as the woman reveals herself to actually be Sprite in disguise, calling Ikaris the Oaf, wondering what he's doing in the meadows. Ikaris tells her that he fell from the sky after escaping Lemuria, so Sprite probes his mind, finding there is something amiss as Ikaris reveals that he woke in a deviant lab and some procedure must have been performed on him. He knows the feeling will pass as he heads into Olympia, knowing while he doesn't particularly like Sprite, he's glad she is back amongst them. He goes to see the grave of his son, knowing that he never got over his death, remembering how years ago he fell in love with a woman from Minoan Crete, having a child with her, and the boy loved flight more than anything, so the Eternal made him some wings to teach him how to fly. The hero was soon called away on Eternal business, and while he was away, the boy used the wings to fly very high into the sky, getting way too high that he actually suffocated, floating in the upper atmosphere for days before plummeting to Earth. Ikaris knows that he couldn't bring the boy back since their regeneration chambers weren't perfected at the time, so he buried the boy, taking his name Ikaris in honor of him. Soon Gilgamesh comes to see Ikaris, knowing that after the boy's death, no Eternal conceived a more perfect memorial. Gilgamesh knows that his friend is troubled thanks to what Sprite told him, so he came to offer his friend comfort, reassuring Ikaris that he's among those who love and cherish him. Ikaris laments how he never agreed with Zorus in banishing Gilgamesh, but the Eternal knows it doesn't matter now since his life has meaning again thanks to Sprite getting him back in. The friends head into the city as Goa meanwhile rallies his forces, telling them about how the Celestials created the Eternals along with the Deviants, who used their weapons to enslave humans, but soon they were attacked from space by the Celestials, who sunk their sacred city. The villain knows they will no longer let themselves be assaulted by the Eternals or Celestials, calling for the death of the Eternal race. In Olympia, Thena and Ransack the Rejects spar in the Champions Arena, with Thena finding the man has improved his form since they last fought in the city of Lemuria. While they spar, the Deviants attack, with the Eternals rallying to confront them. Gilgamesh asks Phastos why the automated defenses didn't activate, but Phastos says that the systems are down and undergoing maintenance, but the camo tech is working, so he doesn't know how they found them. Thena and Ransack cut their way through the Deviant hordes, reveling in the violence as the Deviants use a sonic cannon to put Ransack down. Ikaris and Gilgamesh get to work taking down the giant Deviants as well, telling the villains in the ancient days they slew many beasts of the huge Deviant stature, and the ferocity and history will record this battle was won by Gilgamesh. Ikaris thinks that with the weapon systems down, they will be overwhelmed soon, so Gilgamesh tells him to take him to the control tower, and that's where they'll make their final stand. Gilgamesh knows that while the Deviants have the element of surprise, they need to improvise, so Ikaris decides to use the Unimind. Linking with Gilgamesh, the Eternals begin the Unimind, calling out to the other world's Eternals to come and aid them. The other Eternals join the Unimind, and their collective energies are all put into a single entity which Ikaris and Gilgamesh control together, blowing away the Deviants as the villains try and escape their wrath. With the battle won, the Unimind is finished, and the Eternals all return to normal. Sprite finds Ikaris, finding that the thing she sensed in his mind was actually a tracking device, which is currently dissolving thanks to him beating its control, telling the Eternal that he was unwittingly an ally of the Deviants, and he led them to Olympia. Ikaris knows that nevertheless they won the day thanks to acting in unison with Gilgamesh, knowing if not for him the Unimind wouldn't have been able to be summoned. Back in Lemuria, Goa is angered that his army's lost, knowing that his appetite for conquest continues to grow, and his minions should beware of his wrath should they fail him yet again.